श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। त्वं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna, we like to welcome all the devotees to today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 7, entitled What Prahlad Learned in the Womb. From text 13. Rayah kalatram pasavah sutodaya. Rayah kalatram pasavah sutodaya. गृहामवि कुञ्जरकोशभूतया, गृहामवि कुञ्जरकोशभूतया। सर्वे सखावा क्षणभङ्गुरायुषा, सर्वे सखावा क्षणभङ्गुरायुषा। कुर्वन्ति मर्त्यस्य कियत्क्रियां तदा, कुर्वन्ति मर्त्यस्य कियत्क्रियं तदा। आयकलत्रां बसवः सुतोदया,
गृहामहि कुञ्जरकोशभूतया, सर्वेऽर्थकामा क्षणभङ्गुरायुषा, कुर्वन्ति मर्त्यस्य कियत् प्रियं चलाः। Anyone like to try if you can hear?
या सर्वेरता कामक्षणा भङ्गुरशा, कुर्वन्ति मर्त्यस्य कियत् प्रियं चलः।
मर्त्यस्य कियत् प्रियं चलाः।
रायः कलत्रं पशवः सुतोदयः,
पशवः सुतादयो,
गृहामहि कुञ्जरकोशभूतयः,
गृहामहि कुञ्जरकोशभूतयाः।
सर्वेऽर्थकामा क्षणभङ्गुरायुषः,
सर्वेऽर्थकामा क्षणभङ्गुरायुषा,
कुर्वन्ति मर्तस्य कियत् प्रियं चलः,
कुर्वन्ति मर्त्यस्य कियत् प्रियं चलाः। Anyone Matajis would like to try? Word to word meaning. Rayah, wealth. Kalatram, one's wife and feminine friends. Pashava, domestic animals like cows, horses, asses, cats, and dogs. Sutadaya, children, and so on. Graha, big buildings and residences. Mahi, land. Kunjara, elephants. Kosha, treasury house. Bhutaya, and other luxuries for sense gratification and material enjoyment. Sarve, all. Artha, economic development, kama, and sense gratification, shanabangura, perishable in a moment, ayusha, of one whose duration of life, kurvanti, effect or bring, mrityasya, of one who is destined to die, kiyat, how much, priyam, pleasure, chalaha, flickering and temporary. So we are going to look at the translation first before we discuss on the purport. Translation: one's richest, beautiful wife, female friends, one's sons, daughters, one's residents, one's domestic animals like cows, elephants, horses, one's treasury, economic development, and sense gratification. Indeed, even the lifetime in which one can enjoy all these material opulences are certainly temporary and flickering. Since the opportunity of human life is temporary, what benefit can these material opulences give to a sensible man who has understood himself to be eternal? So here we are seeing on the teachings of what Prahlad had learned within the womb. It's going to be quite challenging, isn't it? I don't know whether you can hear me because I cannot hear myself. Anyways, so we look at what Prahlad had heard or studied within the womb. And this is a section where it's hard to imagine a 5 years old boy having so much realization, so much detachment, so much love for the Lord, where he's telling 9 different things, right? He's talking about money, family, wives. I mean, he's 5 years old. He's not even married. Sutaya, talking about children. What does he know? He's only 5 years old. He's saying all these kind of things in this material world is shana bhangura. It can break. Bhang means to break. All of these things can break within a moment. Shana. Therefore, for a person who has understood himself to be eternal, for one who has understood themselves to be the body, not the body, but the soul, why would one want to invest in all these things? So, in today's discussion, we thought that we will discuss on 3 things. What is the psychology of things? What is called as the psychology of things. Second, we thought of discussing about the nature of material objects. And third, we will talk about some great souls who are engaged in giving back. So first, let us look at the psychology of things. So what's mentioned here, now it's very interesting, Srila Prabhupada in the word-to-word translation of Pashava. Pashu means animals. Prabhupada writes domestic animals like cows, horses. Then he adds cats and dogs. In the Vedic culture, cats and dogs were not considered a commodity. Now it's considered a commodity, you know, how many cats you have at home, how many dogs you have at home. So here's basically all the things which we say are our possessions, right? So Prabhupada adds that, very interesting. So wealth, wife, conveyances, transport. Some people are happy nowadays. They have, electric cars or electric bikes. These are all compared to Pashava. Children, how many children they have, how many homes they have. Those days, people would have at least 2 houses. House in the village and house in the fields. Right? Nowadays, people, father has their own house, son has their own house, daughters have their own house. So nowadays, people have so many houses also. Land, mahi. Kunjara, here is elephants. Now, elephants we can understand as exotic or luxurious pleasures. Some people have that. In some countries, they have 300-year-old wine bottle. 300-year-old wine bottle. And every year they take a sip. 300 years old wine. So that's like Kunjara. How many people have elephants at home? You have to be really royal. So similarly, we also have some exotic luxuries which we keep. Rich people, they collect some limited edition cars or something like that, limited edition watches. For those who are not so rich, maybe they collect perfumes. There's vintage edition perfumes they collect. So this is a concept to Kunjara. Kosha means treasury. For us, this is like our bank, our FD, mutual investments, the things, the shares which we keep secret, which people see as a paper, but actually there's so much behind. So this is a kosha, because already he said raya. Raya means wealth. So again, why to repeat wealth twice? This kosha means hidden treasury, that which, people don't see. They say, Hare, this guy is so simple, poor, Swiss bank account here, foreign investment here. These are koshas. And then bhutadaya, different kinds of enjoyment. So this is an extensive list, but it's not an exhaustive list. Because bhuta adayaha, there are so many other forms of or sources of sense gratification. So sense enjoyment comes in various forms, various sizes, various sources. These are all considered desirable things, and every one of us are so much attached to them. Someone may be not attached to physical wealth, maybe, but they're attached to land. Someone may be not attached to wives or kids, but they are attached to that kunjara, that elephants, that ancient things, like that. So, if you think about the psychology of things, imagine if we lose a pen. Imagine if you lose a pen or you lose a phone. How do we feel? We feel so handicapped, The whole day goes in, oh, where did I keep that pen? But if that phone fell down in front of you and some vehicle came and crushed it, right? I'm sorry, I'm being graphic. But if the phone that you cherish so much falls down in front of you, and in front of your eyes, some vehicle comes and crushes it, pain is there. But there's also a solace that you know how it gone. You know how it died. Imagine if you lose your phone and you do not know where it went. You do not know, did I misplace it? Did someone stole it? That pain is even more. Yes or no? So the pain of the unknown is more painful than the pain of the known. Now imagine this with all kinds of objects connected to us. What more than of a loved one? Sometimes when people go missing in this world, parents pray, let me at least find the body. It gives me some solace. Because if someone goes missing, it's very painful. Can they come back now? Can they come back now? Maybe they're going to come back now. Maybe, but what if? But when you know that a person is gone, it is very painful. But at least there's some closure, as they say. You understand? Chala gaya. Are you with me? I am not with me. So, talking about the psychology of things, recently one friend, he called me. He was staying in the States, United States. And suddenly he called me and I like, hey, how you're calling me from a local number? He said, no, I came back to Mumbai. I said, what happened? You were in USA. He said that my father suddenly passed away. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear this. He said, yeah, suddenly, it's a sudden thing. So then he called. I said, okay, that's fine, but why you're calling me suddenly, He said, Prabhu, it has been so many days now and I'm clearing up all my father's things. And it's such a headache. So much clothes, so much utensils, so many things in the house. I said, and we live in the USA. We have no value for this. Yes or no? It happens, na? So I said, what are you going to do with it? I said, would you like to take this sum for charity? आप ही ले लो. ये क्या करेंगे हमको? So I was thinking that while we are living, we tend to collect so many things, thinking that is valuable. ये काम आएगा. Especially sometimes dabbas, dabbas. रखो. धोके रखेंगे. इसका काम आएगा. We forget that when we enter one dabba, 6 feet under, when we end up in one dabba, all the dabbas become useless. Isn't it? What is valuable to us becomes such a headache to others. And sometimes dying is the beginning of the headache. Because when a person dies, then oh my God, now all the processes, all the formalities, all the things go on, go on. It's such a headache. That too, getting rid of the property. So after a person is gone, a person's accumulated things become a burden, become trash, becomes useless, becomes a headache for others. It is only cherished for you, not for others. So we think about it, no? So therefore, the value of something is only there because it is connected to someone. The value of something is there only it's because it's connected to someone. When that someone is gone, that some things are just things. So if we think about it, then, in our lives also, we collect a lot of things thinking that ye kaam aayega, ye kaam aayega, future mein ye kaam aayega, ye important hai, rakho, rakho, rakho. And slowly, the things in our life start increasing. You had two pairs of pants. You thought, let me get one more. And how many of us have more than one pair of umbrella? More than one, काम आएगा होगा. है ना, ये खराब हो गया तो ये काम आएगा. हम रखते हैं. Right? Those who don't have umbrellas, they're thinking, मेरे को दे दो. But we all tend to keep, accumulate, collect, hide. Many times there are a lot of cautious, secret things, like you lock a drawer and you hide the key. Then if you die, nobody knows where it is. Then everyone curses you. Arey, kahan rakha hai yaar? All the passwords that we have, ATM bank accounts and laptop passwords. It's all kosher. It's all hidden treasure. Mobile, you unlock your mobile. Nobody knows the password. They try to scan your face. So these are all things that we keep. And the moment we die, everything becomes a headache for others. Yes or no? क्या था उसका email account? क्या था उसका GPay account? क्या था उसका password? Oh, so irritating, Then you have to go through so many formalities. So here, Prahlad Maharaj also saying that all these things are well and good as long as you're alive. But the truth of the matter is everyone of us is going to die. So if that is the case, then why are you accumulating? Why are you hiding? Why are you keeping as if you're going to live forever? There's no logic in it. What Prahlad Maharaj is saying. So this reminds us of another few shlokas in Bhagavatam of the similar thread where the glorification of Parikshit Maharaj is given. Parikshit Maharaj was such a king, just like Prahlad Maharaj is a king. Now Prahlad Maharaj spoke all this, but later he is a king. He became a grasta. He had many things also. So he was not against the things, but he was against the attachment that comes with the things, which is very true, isn't it? So another verse that comes very similar to this. Atma jaya sutagara pashu dravina bandhusu raje chavikale nityam virudham mamatam jaho. It is mentioned that Parikshit Maharaj also had many things. He had his self, he had wife, children, pashu, dravina, money, everything. But the king was not disturbed. Avikale, he was not disturbed when he had to give it all up because virudam, that deep-rooted mamatam, that deep-rooted attachment was not there within his heart. So when he had to give it up, he was ready. How many of us are willing to give it up? Isn't it? If someone snatches our phone, we would try to snatch it back. Fight back. So how much, Another similar verse that comes in Bhagavatam also, very similar to this verse. Atma jaya sutagara pashu dravina bandhusu. Then a little different. Niruda mula hridaya atmanam bahumanyate. So here it's mentioned that because of these things like body, wife, children, pashu, commodities and conveyances, a person atmanam bahumanyate. He thinks himself very safe. So this is the psychology of things. if we know that the thing is only valuable so long as I am here, when I am not here, people are going to consider this as kachra, people are going to consider this as headache. Why do we still amass? Why do we still collect? Why do we still keep? Because the psychology of things say, Atmanam bahumanyate. By having all these things, we feel okay. I feel safe. I feel satisfied. I feel secured when I have my things. Simple life we see, especially in India, no? Whether it's male or female, everyone has this. छोटा सा डब्बा रखते हैं. Dabba, dabbi, whatever you may call it. Isn't it? Because we feel that ये काम आएगा. कब आएगा पता नहीं. लेकिन इसका टाइम आएगा. Just like अपना टाइम आएगा, इसका टाइम आएगा. And we keep. And the moment, let's say, we find something that we have to store. किसी ने आपको 10 लड्डू दिया. Someone gave you some laddus. And you think, मेरा वो डब्बा है. Perfect. इस लड्डू के लिए. And the moment you put it and you store it, everyone feels successful. लगता है कि नहीं successful? Bye. काम आएगा इसके. Sometimes that dabba sits 1 year, not utilized. Still the mind says, rakho. काम आएगा आगे. So similarly, amassing things gives us a sense of security. So we accumulate things to feel safe, but this is a false sense of assurance. The jiva is very fearful in this material world. The jiva, the atma, is very scared in this material world. Why? Because everything can hurt us. This body can hurt us. The relationships can hurt us. The material things can hurt us. So the jiva is very fearful. So instead of finding shelter in Krishna, the jiva tries to find shelter in things. And there's another verse in Bhagavatam which says, Dehapatya kalatradisu atma sainyesu asatswapi desham pramatto nidhanam pashyannapi na pashyati. The jiva thinks that he is very safe with his wife, children, money. He considers this as atma sainyesu. These are the soldiers of my body. Asatsu api, although they are not real. Parents think that when I grow up, my children will take care of me. That is the assurance they are putting in the child. Children think that my parents will always be there for me. That is the assurance they are putting in their parents. Working people think that my bank balance will always be there for me. So we are putting assurance in material things. But what is the reality? Shukadev Goswami says, Atma sainyesu asatsu api. These soldiers of the body cannot be trusted. A king is very proud. As long as I have my military, my kingdom is safe. The moment the military is gone, the king is scared. Similarly, we are putting faith in all these things, but they are asat. They themselves have no assurance. They themselves have no permanent existence. So, the jiva is looking for eternal shelter. Prabhupada writes as fallible soldiers. So, this is the nature. Now, let us try to read the purport. The purport, Prabhupada is going to speak more about economical development, more than relationships, money. He talks about the endeavor for economical development. So Prabhupada says, this verse describes how the advocates of economic development are frustrated by the laws of nature. So many people nowadays are saying that pragati chahiye, modern chahiye, advancement chahiye, development chahiye, vikas chahiye. That means money. Prabhupada continues to say, as the previous verse asks, Kim Vishayopabhadane? What is the benefit of so-called economic development? The history of the world has factually proved that the attempts to increase economic development for bodily comfort through the advancement of material civilization has done nothing to remedy the inevitable birth, death, old age, and disease. So Prabhupada says that if you look throughout history, everyone is trying to improve themselves, but the reality is they are not able to improve birth, death, old age, and disease. These are real problems of life. Prabhupada continues to give a more vivid example, which we can appreciate. Everyone has knowledge of huge empires throughout the history of the world. Right? Everyone who knows history, they know about great empires. Prabhupada gives example, the Roman Empire, the Mughal Empire, the British Empire, and so on. It's very interesting. So the British Empire ruled India for about 200 years. That's a long time, 200 years. The Mughal Empire ruled for about 300 years. Prabhupada began with quoting the Roman Empire. If you look in the history of the current world, what is called as CE, Common Era, which country or which civilization began the conquer or conquest? It is attributed to Alexander the Great. Macedonian, Roman, Greek, they come from the same civilization bowl, you can say. So it was the Macedonians that decided. Alexander the Great, after his father was killed, when he became king, I don't think he killed his father, but anyways, that's another theory in that. So after his father was killed, he became the emperor, and he thought that why limit only to Macedonia? For those of you who know history, Macedonia is just a tukade of Greece, Greek Empire, just a small piece. So he said that, let me start to invade. And he went to conquer the Middle East. He went to conquer Iran, Iraq, Persia, all these kingdoms, right? Egypt, he went on to conquer. So he's the first person to went on conquering. And then after that, all the kingdoms started fighting among themselves, started conquering like that. So Prabhupada quotes the original conqueror, the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was about 2,500 years ago. Okay. So Prabhupada goes on to say that, all these societies, they engage in great economical development. Sarve artha kamaha. But they have been frustrated by the laws of nature through periodic wars, through pestilence, through famine, so on. Thus, their attempts have been flickering and temporary. If we look at maybe 2,500 years ago is a long time. Even 300, 200 years ago, it's a long time. We don't remember. If you look at a little current, not very current actually, but at least local history. So we are lucky, we come from we are living in a very historic place also. We have that Kohoj fort behind that has around 800 years of history. Locals believe that it was built by the Gujarat Sultanate, the Gujarat Sultans of the Gujarat area, or upper Maharashtra also they ruled. So they built the fort, and then later the Portuguese came and conquered it. The Portuguese fortified it, solidified it, add on cannons, add on bastions. And then later the Marathas came, Shivaji Maharaj armies and all, they came and they conquered the fort. So you can only imagine now when we go for trekking and we're standing on top Kohoj Killa and looking down, right? Many have experienced. What was it like 800 years ago when the kings caught this area, looking over the lands, seeing over Galtare, Nane at that time, whatever it was, thinking that so powerful I am. But what is it now? Pathetic, isn't it? Similarly, if you see Vasai Fort, right, we take people sometimes to go and see Vasai Killa, very historic. Similar thing, the original Vasai Fort was built by the Gujarat Sultanate, the Muslim kings. Later, Portuguese came, they fortified, they made a huge boundary wall, built many churches, which you can see till today. What they all now? Nothing. All ruins. No, people don't even understand what is this, what is that, buildings. Couples come. They engage in whatever activities. So embarrassing, So whatever great things people have created, we can clearly see within our own eyes, everything destroyed. So therefore, Prabhupada continues to say, Kurvanti martasya kiyat priyam chalaha. Why you're so loving something which is so, chanchalam, impermanent. One may be very proud of possessing a vast empire, but such empires are impermanent. After 100, 200 years, Prabhupada is saying, everything is finished. So this is the position of economic development. Although created with great endeavor and hardship, are vanquished very soon. Therefore, they have been described as chala. So here we come a question, Prabhu, are you saying that we should not endeavor for development of economy? Because everyone here is worried about money, isn't it? We sometimes tell people, get a job, work hard, work at government. So are we saying that we should not endeavor for economic development? The question is in the word endeavor, prayas. Because we know from nectar of instruction that no, we don't want to do ati prayas. So Prabhupada's formula was very easy. Do whatever that is easy to you. Do something which is easily obtainable. Don't over endeavor. So there is no harm in getting money if it comes easily. Sometimes people are born in a rich family. So great, use it. Sometimes people are born intelligent. Great, use it. Sometimes people are born lucky. Right? We have seen many times in college, na? The person doesn't do very well. First year, second year, duffer. Suddenly last year gets some oil and gas job, gets a lot of money. And the student who works very hard and studies so hard, 2 years jobless. So sometimes people are lucky. Great, go with it. Our principle is very simple. There should be no ati prayas. There should be no very over endeavoring, because this goes against the spiritual principle. It causes to become deviated from a spiritual goal. So whatever comes easily, naturally, money is important, economy, financial is important, but what comes easily without much stress and strain, one can endeavor for that. If you work locally, great. Be happy. Sometimes people do jobs, they do 3 jobs, morning, afternoon, night. 3 jobs, morning, evening, late night. So why so much prayasa? This goes against the spiritual principle. Prabhupada then continues to say, an intelligent man should conclude that material economic development is not at all pleasing. The trying to just, improve material conditions is not at all pleasing. The entire world is described in Bhagavad Gita as dukhalayam ashashvatam, miserable and temporary. Economic development may be pleasing for some time, but it cannot endure. Isn't it? We see so many business tycoons when they start up an enterprise, so much enjoyable, isn't it? I create a company, they put their name to it. Tata, Birla, Godrej, whatever it may be. So pleasing. But now you look at it, who is sitting on the board of chairman? No Tata, no Birla, no Godrej, all different people. Naam hai, kaam kisi aur ka hai. Name is there, but other people are taking it. So the empire is gone. So Prabhupada continues to say, many big businessmen are now very morose. They're very sad because they are harassed by governments. Government asks them to pay tax. We have this experience of CSR, corporate social responsibility. Companies have to give some amount of their earnings to social cause, to CR, something, whatever, 2%. 2% of whatever they earn, 2% of whatever interest or whatever, what do you call that? Income. 2% of whatever income, they have to give it to a social cause. Do the companies want to give it? No, they're not happy, but they're harassed by the government. If you big companies, you don't give, we will charge you heavy tax. To avoid tax, they're doing social cause. So the company person is also smart. He's smarter than the government. That's why he's a company. He's thinking, oh, you are charging me 2%. I will increase the margin of my business and earn back that 2% silently. Even if you cut me from 2%, I still have so much earnings. Inflation comes. They start increasing the prices of commodities. They start cutting down on quality. Cheaper this, fake that. Why? because you are cutting my 2%. I need to earn it back somewhere else. Right? So, Prabhupada continues to say, in conclusion, why should one waste his time for so-called economic development, which is neither permanent nor pleasing to the soul? Now, reading this, someone may think, but aren't also we in economic development? Big temples, big structures, big houses, big enterprises, big gift shops, big this, isn't it? So the purpose is very simple because we understand the utility of things. Again, it should not come out of prayas. What is the point if we create all these big things and none of the residents chant? Everyone is so busy creating, but no one is chanting or no one is practicing. Then that is prayas. There is unnecessary endeavor, unnecessary labor. As per time, whatever comes naturally, easily, by Krishna's grace, things grows. Nothing wrong with that. Because material development attracts material people. So material development is important because it will attract materialistic people. Prabhupada says that I can preach under a tree, but I'm building these huge temples for you. We see now also, because of all these huge things that we have, so many important people are coming, isn't it? Celebrities, politicians, influencers. But imagine if we were our original Govardhan ashram when we started, right? 5 acres, few dogs, small kitchen. We love the imli trees, right? The tamarind trees. These were our luxuries. These were our wealth, right? Few cows, 30 cows. Would people want to come? They come, they feel pity for us. But now when they come, they want to be a part of us. So these things are needed. But again, in the process of acquiring, there should not be any prayas, over endeavoring. So I also don't want to make too much prayas. So I'm just cutting short. We'll go directly to the end of the purport where Srila Prabhupada says, on the other hand, what is the real wealth? What is the real commodity or the real property that we have? Our relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is eternal. Nitya Siddha, Krishna Prema. The pure souls are eternally in love with Krishna. And this permanent love, either as a servant, a friend, a parent, or conjugal lover, is not at all difficult to revive. So here Prabhupada is saying that if you want to value some asset in your life, value the relationship we have with God. The relationship we have with God, the relationship we have with Krishna, this is an eternal relationship. This is the eternal commodity. This is the real property. Invest in that. Invest in developing that. Anything else, development comes by Krishna's grace. Prabhupada says it is not difficult to revive that wealth, especially in this age. The concession is that simply chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Prabhupada says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. One revives his original relationship with God and becomes so happy that he doesn't want anything material. So, it reminds me of a verse in Mukundamala Stotra where King Kulashekaran Alvar, he says, how important is this holy name? He says, if you chant the holy name, all other material desires become very insignificant. He says, Satyam bravimi manuja swayam urdva bahur yo yo mukunda narasimha janardaneti jivo japatyanudinam marane raneva ashana kashta sadrishaya dadatya bishnam. He says, Satyam bravimi. I'm speaking truth. Oh, Manuja, I can only speak to humans because only they can chant. Isn't it? Dogs will not chant. Satyam bravimi Manuja. Oh, humans, I'm speaking truth. Swayam urdhva bahu. I myself am raising hands and proclaiming this. Yo yo Mukunda Narasimha Janardaneti. Whoever who chants the name Mukunda Narasimha Janardana. Jivo Japati Anudinam. When you're alive, you chant Anudinam every day. Marane Raneva. Whether you're dying or whether you're fighting, isn't it? Two things we do in life. We try to run away or we try to fight. Marane means give up. Rane means fight. Isn't it? When we go to school, teachers say, tomorrow there's an exam. We don't go to school. That is Marane. Teacher say, tomorrow there's exam. We go home, we study. That is Rane. Marane, Rane. Two things we do in life. Whether you try to run away from life, sometimes we do, na? Exams are tough. Relationships are tough. Service is tough. We try to run away. So, Marane, Rane. Whether you try to run away from life or you try to fight in life, both are useless only. Pashana Kashta, Pashana Kashta. So, Abhishtam, all your cherished material desires are as useless like stone and wood. They have no value. Just by chanting, one can eliminate material desires. So, Prabhupada quotes this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, as enunciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va, jagat isha kamaye. A very advanced devotee in Krishna consciousness does not want riches, does not want followers, does not want possessions. See, there's a difference here. You don't want, but if they come, ठीक है, but you should not want it. You know, you don't want it, but it will come out of Krishna's grace. Followers and money and riches, whatever. Prabhupada goes on to say the satisfaction of possessing material opulences, although perhaps different standard, there is some satisfaction in getting a lot of possession, is available even in the lives of dogs and hogs. There's a shloka in 11th canto which says this. Why go after material things? Because that is also available for animals. Animals also get some pleasure, right? Sometimes a cow is born in our Goshala and it has all the first class treatment. He has an MD doctor to take care of it. Isn't it? But sometimes some cow is born in some street, somewhere in some city. It doesn't have all. So, so things sometimes come on its own accord. But Prabhupada says human life is to revive that relationship with Krishna, which is the greatest treasure. So Prahlad Maharaj here is saying that it's artadam, it is very valuable. Prabhupada's last message to us, instead of wasting our time for economic development, we should try to revive our relationship with Krishna. We will properly utilize our lives. So, I think I'll just discuss on two things only before we end. We will see an example of one king who had everything, lost everything and gained everything, which is today's Ekadasi Mahatmya also. Today's Annada Ekadasi or Aja Ekadasi. It comes in the story of this famous king which we all know growing up, Harishchandra. Right? People sometimes give a good example, bad example also. They say, don't be like Harishchandra. That means don't be too honest and get cheated. Right? So actually, what is the story of Harishchandra? There's so many Puranic stories. Bhagavatam has one version. We grew up hearing another version. So the Bhagavatam's version is that, Harishchandra one day was, he has a king, so many wives, but he had no child. So they say that you worship Varuna. So he was worshipping Varuna and Varuna blessed him with a child. The son's name was Rohit or Lohit. Both means the same thing, dark red. Lohita, Rohita. So Bhagavatam says Rohita, other Puranas say Lohita. Blessed him with a son and he was very happy. Varuna said, now give me a dakshina. He says, what do you want? I want your child. Arey yaar, abhi to diya, wapas le rahe. He said, my dear Varuna Dev, my child is so small now. How can I sacrifice him to you? Wait for some time. Varuna says, okay. 10 years later he comes, 20 years later he comes, 30 years later he comes. Every time he comes, Harishchandra is giving the same excuse. No, 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 no. Wait, 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 wait. Child grows up big. He realizes that my father is in a fix. Rohita or Lohita runs away. He runs away, thinking that, now I have to save myself. So he comes across one person who has a son, and he says that you already have 3 children. Give me this boy. He buys this boy. This boy is known as Shunashepa, dog's tail. Shunashepa. And he goes to Varuna and sacrifices this boy. And this boy, this is also a story within another story. This is also a glorification of the Shunashepa. So Shunashepa doesn't know who his father is. And, he's born in such a family. He was sold to be sacrificed. A great devotee of the Lord. He starts praying. And by his prayers, all the karja, all the debts are forgiven. And Harishchandra is ready to sacrifice, So another story which comes, which is also quoted sometimes by our acharyas, is that one day this Harishchandra, he offends Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is doing tapasya and he chastises him. Vishwamitra becomes very angry, curses him. He says, please forgive me, please forgive me. He said, okay, forgive me, give me something. He said, what do you want? He said, give me all your wealth. And Harishchandra sacrificed all his wealth. He says, still I'm not satisfied, give me some more. He said, Hare Baba, I don't have anything. Go and work. So Harishchandra starts working, getting money. Still is not satisfied. Harishchandra sells his wife. He sells his wife, gets some money, gives that to Varuna. Varuna says, still not satisfied. He says, my God, what do you want? Harishchandra sells himself. He becomes a chandal. He starts working in a graveyard, earns money and gives to Varuna. One day, a lady comes carrying a dead son. Harishchandra says, what is this lady? Now Harishchandra, how does he earn in the graveyard? Whatever body that comes that he has to burn, he collects some collection. He takes some money. Sometimes I don't know whether it's here, but I remember in Malaysia also, at least I've seen. Here I've not visited any graveyard. I think it's the same. We give a little extra money to the Harishchandra person, we call, who does the burning. Because at least I remember my parents say that if you give something, he'll burn nicely. If not, he will just do something half job and, when you have to go and collect the asti. I don't know how is it in India. I think maybe the same. So we used to go and we used to give a little money to that person, extra. Just like when you go to Tirupati, you give a little money extra to the barber so that he does a good job, doesn't cut your head. And those who have gone to Tirupati, you have realized if you do not give, sometimes a little, not very good. They don't change the blade. They directly shave you. If you give money, he changes the blade. Some spiritual corruption, whatever happens. So Harishchandra used to earn some money by burning bodies. And one day one lady came carrying a boy. And when he saw, he was like, oh my God, this is my wife. And this is my son. Harishchandra starts crying. My son has died. My son has died. Wife say, my dear husband, please take this body and burn. He does the ritual, turns to his wife and asks for collection. He said, this is my job. Paisa de do. Baapre. Seeing this, all the devatas come. So the story of Harishchandra is misunderstood. Basically, 2 big lessons are there. One is how Harishchandra, I'm of course making the story very short, how Harishchandra, despite so many tribulations, actually all the devatas were testing him. Varuna, Vishwamitra, they were testing him. They were pushing him, pushing him, pushing him. He gets disease, he loses his kingdom, he loses family. But the main lesson is, despite all tribulation, Harishchandra remained calm. That is the glory of Harishchandra. Second, he never gave up dharma. He never gave up morality. Now, sometimes when things are going very tough, especially when in cases of emergency, we give up morality, isn't it? You're so hungry. You're so hungry. and it's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And suddenly you see some dabba of prasad is lying. Cold khichdi, cold dal, nice some sabji. Sorry, today's Ekadasi, huh? Anyways. So a person feels so hungry, he comes, he puts the plate, eats like anything, rice and everything. Ah, he feels more hungry. He sees no one is there to serve me. I need second serving, but nobody is there. He looks for anyone. I have to walk all the way to wash my hand. So hungry. Apat dharma. वैसे बाद में तो बर्तन साफ करने वाले है ना. चलो. So in times of emergency, when the push is there, we tend to throw away dharma. We tend to forsake morality. But Harishchandra is glorified because he was very calm. And second, he never gave up his morality. So this is today's Ekadasi Mahatmya. Today is also the most auspicious holy occasion of the Vyasa Puja of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Maharaj appeared on this Ekadasi day. He is also in one sense like this. He came from a very affluent family, but he decided to dedicate everything to Srila Prabhupada. And he's a person who's also never losing his calm. So many things go against his way. So many disciples go against him. So many issues, temples. He's always very focused and he never gave up his morality. Gaurang Prabhu was sharing that Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says that I have built many temples with many Govindas, restaurants, but he has never ate in any of the restaurants. So much principled person. He said, I eat with the devotees. Eat only the kitchen or the whatever prasadam. So much principled person, isn't it? So he's a person who built so many temples, who distributed so many books, who has expanded preaching. He was the GBC of many countries like Russia. He's one of the first sannyasis, gurus to go to Russia actually, to preach. One of the first. Africa. People know Maharaj as the pillar of India. People know Maharaj as a pillar of India, but before that or during that time, he has erected many pillars around the world. Russia, Africa, Northern America, Canada, some places in Europe. He used to travel every year and he's so much loved, known. He's a GBC of these areas. So he's also such a person who has so much tremendous faith. And we can see these examples of Harishchandra, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, all so many great personalities. Actually, there's so many, but I'm fighting the nature. Right? Dadichi Muni comes, Lord Shiva comes, so many different examples of people who invested in their eternal relationship with Krishna. They got so much facility and they use it all in Krishna's service. So just to end, we'll conclude that here Prahlad Maharaj is telling all of us that in the back of our mind, we should remember that whatever things we have, they're not going to last. No point in putting too much attention or endeavor in this. If it comes naturally, great. If it comes on its own accord, great. If it's not there, stay calm. Never give up dharma. Learn to adjust. Move on. Because Krishna is the ultimate wealth, the real proprietor. And we can actually need to invest in that relationship. Someone may ask, but Prabhu, I understand this. How about the material desires? That Lord Chaitanya and Prabhupada and also Kulashekar Alva has mentioned. Just chant very sincerely, very loudly. And slowly but surely these material desires will go away. Then we can actually see the real object which is worth investing in. So I like to end here. And I think we should end here. We should not take it further. So thank you all so much for your determined hearing. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्री अन्नदा एकादशी की, इंद्रदेव की जय।